How we doing? For those on Twitch right now, they're having problems with the Twitch. But anyway, that just popped up on my screen, so I just wanted to let people know. Anyway, Rich, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm good, man. How about you?
Good. How's the foot?
Sir?
How's the foot?
Better than it was last week. Went in on Thursday and they said it was doing better. I go in tomorrow morning again for my latest check-in. So 8 a.m. first thing in the morning. Chop, chop, crack, crack. I'm there.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
in the waiting room till 10, right?
no, 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 no. I got to admit, man, these people here are on it, especially if I'm the first, because 8 o'clock's the first appointment. If I'm the first one in there, at the latest 8:05 I'm in. And it takes about I think last time it took about 45 minutes to an hour to cut this cast off, clean it up, put the new one on. I was out the door 45 minutes to an hour.
Nice, nice. Getting breakfast then, huh?
Big thing is hopefully it can be. I got another appointment next Wednesday. Hopefully it's healed up by then, so I don't have to jack with it for 4th of July weekend.
Right? Now, will you be able to walk? Or are you gonna be in a cane? Or
Well, I mean, I use a walker and a scooter anyway because I still will have no feeling in my feet, but the wound on my heel will be fixed. So until this thing came along, I was spending about 90% of my time on the walker and very rarely using the wheelchair. Um, since I got this and they want to be off of it as much as possible, that's kind of shifted. So stamina is not quite there like it was and that kind of thing, but I got to get it built back up.
so, did you take the governor off of the scooter so you can scoot?
Hey man, that thing will go up to 5 miles an hour. And you don't realize how fast 5 miles an hour is until you're sitting on the moving object with there's no roll cage or anything like that around you. It boogies, man.
All right, all right.
And
Oh,
the battery on that thing, it said it'll go up to 10 miles on one charge.
was that? I don't know scooter life. Was that good then?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, they get them and they'll go like 3, 4, 5 miles on a shot. They had to custom make mine because I'm 7 foot tall and 450. So, they had to custom make mine so my knees weren't up into the handlebar and all that kind of stuff. Um, so they put basically a car battery on mine.
Nice. Hey, whatever keeps the big guy happy, right?
Hey, and it'll be good to get back to doing all the stuff I was doing around the house and taking the load of stuff off my wife. Because trust me, when I was sick and I mean unable to do stuff and all that, man, I mean she was unbelievable. At some point in time, I may tell the whole story, but um, yeah, I mean she was unbelievable. And I got to the point, I was able to do the dishes, take care of my own laundry, cook sometimes, that kind of stuff. The last 10 days, nada. She's had to bring me my food and all that kind of stuff, and it's just
Makes you
on top
appreciate.
of everything else she's doing. Huh?
Makes you appreciate it. Makes you appreciate her a lot more.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
This isn't
my
the.
my wife,
Yeah.
my wife gets me. I tell people this all the time, and my wife gets me. I mean, she understood from the jump. We've known each other 25 years now, maybe a little longer. Whenever we first met, I was bowling with her then husband, her mom, and a friend of theirs. That's when we first met 25 years ago. Uh, Over the course of time, life being what it is, we've been married. It'll be 10 years next March, and she gets the whole radio thing. She gets the sports thing. She's a big baseball. She's a sports fan too. She loves baseball, loves football. Not as big a basketball fan or hockey, but I can't get her into wrestling.
That cup final in a minute, huh?
Do I?
Even if you weren't a hockey fan, that was a hell of a finals.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, a lot of times you see 3-0 and you're going, "Oh crap, this is over." Kudos, man. Kudos to both teams. Florida did a great job pulling it off in game 7, but man, I'll tell you, those teams both, they're super good teams.
Yeah, I have a feeling that well, we hope. I mean, sometimes people don't make it back, but I think McDavid has that thirst now, and he knows what to expect.
Yeah,
So
I mean, hockey is just like baseball and football. I mean, you don't see the repeat champions near as often as you did. And a lot of that is free agency. A lot of guys are more, and I don't know where all this money's coming from the NHL, but you got guys that are getting all these bucks and all that, and they're not as concerned about winning as they are getting the dollars. Now, a lot of the guys are, but I think it's different time where you knew the core like 8 or 9 guys. Even when the Penguins won the last time, you knew those core 8 or 9 guys. Now they're changing every time you turn around. Outside of Gino and Crosby, you know,
yeah,
Letang.
Letang, Rust has been there a while.
Oh yeah, that's true. Rust has, yeah,
I mean, obviously Gunsel was there until the trade
yeah.
that people just can't get over, and they're losing their minds.
Well, I wasn't a big fan of that trade either, but
It had to
you
happen.
know,
It had to happen. He wasn't going to resign here. Doesn't matter.
unfortunately, you're right.
And we got four. We got four prospects that we can actually talk about. Those were our four best prospects in our system besides Jaeger.
Well, but again, they're prospects, and we don't know. It could be, they could be Crosby and Malkin. They could be Eric Lindros.
And I absolutely love getting Bunning. I thought that was a great acquisition in that trade. We
Oh
needed
yeah,
we needed someone to get in front of the net. I thought it was a great trade for someone that obviously didn't want to be here. He didn't sign a deal earlier in the year to stay here with a hometown discount. So he didn't want to be
right.
here. He already got to play with the greatest in the world. He and it was time for him to move on. I mean, that's what he wanted to do. Now we'll see where he signs on. What is that? July 1st. I don't know what
Yeah,
time free agency starts, but
yeah, and I think it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that, kind of like what the NFL does. But I'm just, I'm very curious to see how that's going to play out for them. You
James,
know,
how you doing? Good show last night, brother. Got to watch a little bit of his show last night. It was all hockey. Um, but anyway, you probably like talking to Frankie Rich. You probably would.
I'll have to do that one of these days.
Um, yeah, he's a good dude over
I,
there. But he's from Philly,
yeah, and
though.
I don't have. I left my hat across the room. I was going to wear. I was going to make a political statement tonight, but you know, I got this new hat from my guys. My Booking the Territory guys. It says "Make Wrestling Great Again."
Yeah, you should have wore it.
I left it across the room. I forgot to grab it before we went on.
That's fine. You can always wear it next time.
There you go. Make the political statement there.
Right? Speaking of that, I don't know what nights it's going to be, but Rich, you might want to jump on. You might want to get in contact with Chair Shot Sports. After, I guess it's going to be Monday nights. I guess he's going to do like a raw Twitter page thing,
Okay,
little Q&A and stuff with him. I don't know if you'd want to jump on with him, but get in touch with him in the group.
I can do that. Chair Shot Sports. Okay,
Yeah, he's in the group, so.
gotcha.
But I don't. If there was a way to go live on Twitter to Twitter Spaces from Streamyard, that'd be awesome.
That would be cool. That would be very cool. I'm sure there is. We just got to find it.
Right. I don't know how to do that either. But I told him that if we could run Twitter Spaces off of that, we could run it onto there, and then that way we could record it too. You know.
Sure.
But anyway, Connor McDavid did get the Conn Smythe. Obviously, he didn't come out and accept it, even though he was on the ice. Apparently, I didn't understand that whole thing.
I don't know.
I mean, I get it. There's disappointment in losing and everything else. Connor McDavid had a hell of a series, hell of a playoff, 42 points, crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's ridiculous. That's Lemieux numbers.
Right. I know we haven't seen the last of that kid, but we'll see. Like you just said, it's hard to get to that final game.
Yeah, but yeah, we definitely have not seen the last of him. There is zero, unless he has some sort of a just ridiculously stupid injury. We have
Remember,
definitely not seen the last of that young man.
remember whenever Derrick Rose didn't make the Olympic squad in what was that, '96? And they said, "Oh, he'll be back." He never made it back.
And well, I tell you what, you talk about guys that the injuries killed their careers. Him and Grant Hill both.
I was thinking
Um,
McGrady if we're going that conversation.
who?
Tracy McGrady.
Yeah, T Mac, Penny Hardaway,
Grady,
Yao
if he
Ming.
might have been, he was, if he would have stayed healthy, he might have got a couple championships. He was
Yeah.
that good.
Well, I mean, I really think if Grant Hill stays healthy, when it's all said and done, he's talked about top 15 player of all time. T Mac would probably be in the same realm.
What I mean, I think, yeah, that injury definitely killed. Anyway, Rich, we are well off topic here. Our Pirates are on a
Hey,
two game tear right now, I guess we could say.
we are. The Pirates are on a streak. You can
And
call it a streak if it's more than one.
and I hate to say it, but he's one of the hottest hitters behind Reynolds this month, and he's not your favorite. But Tellez definitely hits the ball this month.
I don't care. I really don't. It's one of those. If you're performing, great. You know, there's guys that are performing and that are doing what they're supposed to do, and that's fantastic. There's guys that are surprising us that are doing a little bit better than we thought they were going to. Then there's other guys that replaced another guy, and the other guy is tearing things up on his new team. Carlos Santana. Um,
Yeah,
but
we traded him halfway through the season last year.
say again.
We traded him halfway through the season.
Santana has got 12 bombs for Minnesota right now. They could have very easily brought him back, but they didn't.
Be here?
Do what?
Did he want to be here?
I don't know, but I don't know that there was a whole lot of effort put into it either. And that's what kind of just, I don't know. I mean, Rowdy, yeah, he's hitting a little bit here lately and that kind of thing. Okay, I get it. I don't know. Carlos Santana just would have been a whole lot better choice with what we had the opportunity to get. Um, I still wasn't the biggest fan of the Michael Taylor thing
I'm
if they
still
were depending on his stick.
I'm still not the biggest fan of that Michael Taylor fan. Now,
Well,
now
I mean,
he surprised us all in that first 2 weeks, going ballistic. But where did he go? Where did he go?
but see, you're not getting a player like Michael Taylor for offense because you're getting him for speed and for defense. And I understand you cannot steal first base. I get that. But when he gets on, he can steal. But still, his speed in the outfield and his glove is what you got him for. That's
Right.
fine, except for one major problem. You got about 5 guys in this lineup, 5 or 6 guys that are the exact same way. And that's where the issue's coming in. You got a guy at third that let's be perfectly honest, man. Brian Hayes is hurt. The dude is straight out hurt. I don't care what anybody tries to say and all that. He's toughing it out for the season. But that back is, you can tell from the way he carries himself, that back is messed up.
I haven't really, Rich. You watch the games more than I do. Obviously, they're blacked out on my phone and on MLB Network here. I listen on the
Yeah.
radio a lot. I listen on the radio because I'm usually at work, so I
Mhm.
usually don't see what you're telling me. So all I can do is take your word on it, and
Yeah.
and I mean, and this comes back to the manager. Why is Shelf playing him? Why did he get cleared?
I,
I mean, Pittsburgh's
well,
for the best
from
dog.
the from what I read, it's a case of he can't make it any worse by playing. So the condition itself of his back, they're saying it can't get any worse by him playing. However, it still hurts. It's still, and you can tell there's a difference between it hurts and you're injured. Okay, you know, even halfway through the season, pretty much everybody's kind of banged up. Okay, there's a difference between banged up and legit hurt. And I mean, I think Hayes is going to struggle with that through the rest of the season. He has said publicly that he wants to be out there. He wants to help this team. He knows this team has a shot and he wants to be out there. Okay. As long as he's not a detriment to the team, fine. Is he that gold glove third baseman that he was last year? Nah. The biggest thing is he's just not swinging the stick well. And the numbers are showing it. When you look at Brian Hayes right now, um, he's got 47 hits. He's hitting 222, 3 homers, and 18 RBI.
That's not his usual.
Not good. Not good at all. So, but again, who are you going to put at third that's any better? Defensively, you're not.
I have no clue who they're going to put at third,
Um,
and that's where
but
that utility guy would come in handy to give Key
it
Brian
would.
good spot start off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I know that they've been trying. Um, they've been trying to work Triolo over there a little bit, which is fine by me. I mean that's not a major thing for me. Triolo is one of those guys that can play, I think, anywhere but pitch and catch. Um, I really think he could play the outfield if you needed him to. But again, you got that leadership, you got everything else going on out there. The thing that I do like is that we're seeing some of these other guys slowly but surely come along. When you got a guy like what Gonzalez is doing, the guy's hitting 281. He's playing solid baseball. He's not going to be a 40 home run guy by any stretch of the imagination, but he's got 5 homers. He's got 27 ribbies. He's only played 41 games. So, on 162 game pace,
and
he's at a,
your boy Schultz likes benching him and giving him 2 to 3 days off a week, which is absolutely ridiculous for how young he is.
I understand this. But you put a 162 game schedule with these kind of numbers, he's a 100 RBI guy.
Yeah, well, he's sitting 2 games a week.
Uh,
And I don't.
for right now, yeah, yeah.
But we really could have used him in the lineup against any day schemes is out there. They're running shit lineups with schemes out there lately. It's ridiculous. Our ace
Right.
pitchers junk lineups. Why? Are they scared to show him off? I mean, he's showing himself off. I don't understand. I don't understand this at all. I mean,
I don't either.
this is what makes Shell look like a horrible manager, and he's getting complaints up and down the storm. Even on wins, they question what he's doing, Rich. And I know you like the guy, but I don't know. I question his baseball knowledge sometimes.
Well, it's not even the case that I like the guy. It's a matter of you make do with what you got. Um, and I'll use the Rangers as an example. When Jeff Bannister was here, he did not have, he gets let go. Bochy gets brought in. Okay. But Bannister does not have Jacob deGrom. He does not have Max Scherzer. He does not have Marcus Semien. He does not have Corey Seager. He does not have John Gray. He does not have Nathaniel Lowe. He doesn't have Josh Young to work with. He's playing a whole slew of AAA guys that have no business being on the field. And they're losing 90 to 100 games. They make these moves over a couple of years. They bring Boch in. If Bannister had a chance to work with these guys, would he have gotten them to the World Championship last year? Probably not. Would he have gotten them to the playoffs? Yeah. And I almost forgot. And boy, my daughter beat me over the head because I forgot her favorite player, Nate Eovaldi. Bannister didn't have him either. But those moves that the Rangers have made, that being said, the Pirates have got to make moves. Is it a matter of bringing in a new manager and those moves? Maybe so. Maybe they go to Tito Francona. I don't know. I mean, he's voiced the fact he would like to manage again.
Do you think when they hired Bucci, Bucci said, "Hey, we got to open. You want me here? We need to bring in some guys." Do you think he opened his mouth about it, said something about it, like, "Hey, this is the free agency coming up. Let's go get this guy, this guy, this guy, and I'll be your guy, and I'll do everything I can to bring home the championship." I mean,
possibly.
He does.
Well, they brought in
that pedigree, that resume, where he could probably
does
this stuff. Like, you want me here? Here's what I need.
Right. Well, they brought in Semien and Gray before they brought in Bochy. The year before, they brought in Semien and they brought in Lowe and they brought in Gray. They brought those three in the year before they brought Bochy in. Then they got Seager and Eovaldi and deGrom and those guys.
Semien and Seager signed at the same.
Say again?
I got Semien and Seager signed the same year.
No.
I thought they did. I mean, you're in Texas, you know more than me, but I thought they signed the same year.
No. They were a year apart.
I just don't remember one of them being there without the other. But I could be wrong. I mean, obviously, you're in Texas. You know what's going on in Texas. I don't.
Well, but yeah, because the funny part was they both signed 7-year deals. I'm sorry, Seager signed 10, Marcus signed 7. And it was deGrom that came in 23. My mistake. It was Semien and Seager that both came in 22. And then they brought in Scherzer at the end of 22 or at the middle of 23. I'm sorry. They brought in Gray in 22.
Match,
They
right?
brought in Evaldi in 23.
They signed you both.
So yeah, and they got Evaldi on he's got this year and then he's got a vesting option for next year. But they've got Seager through 31, DeGrom through 27, Simeon through 28. Scherzer will be a free agent after this year. Gray through 25. Um, Adolis Garcia hits arbitration after next season. Um, they're the guys that, and Josh Young, of course, is on a rookie contract and that kind of stuff. All these things to say, the Pirates have got to do, if they're going to make this major push, they've got to go get these guys. Who were the hottest free agents those years that Simeon and Seager and DeGrom got signed? Simeon, Seager, and DeGrom. That was the three guys that were at the top of everybody's list, and the Rangers went and got all three of them. The Pirates have got to go out and get guys that are going to make a major impact now.
We knew we weren't signing any of those guys.
Do what?
We knew we weren't signing any of those guys, Rich.
You knew the Pirates weren't, but okay, let's use Tito Francona as the example. Okay, if they did bring in Tito Francona or Joe Girardi or somebody of that ilk, okay, somebody that's got the experience and has won, okay, pick your manager. I don't care, but then you look at.
We would want the hometown kid, Terry Francona.
Well, actually, but I'm just looking at, for example purposes.
I want to be like a full rebuild team.
Sure, but what I'm saying, you look when you bring in a guy like that, he's going to want a team that can win, right?
Right.
We've talked about before. The Pirates have pieces that you can build around. You can build around Reynolds and Cruz and Hayes and Gonzalez, and of course our three-headed monster in the starting rotation. You can build around those guys, okay? But think about these free agents that are coming out, and this is what scares the crap out of me, okay? You with catchers, your best free agent catchers coming out are Danny Jansen, Travis d'Arnaud, James McCann, and Austin Nola. Okay. First base, you've got 35-year-old Goldschmidt, 31-year-old Alonso, who's going to cost you the moon and the stars, Anthony Rizzo, Christian Walker. Okay. So, you've got a couple of guys there that are upper echelon. Second base, Gleyber Torres, Brandon Lau, Ha-Seong Kim, Jorge Polanco. Third base, Alex Bregman, Matt Chapman, Justin Turner. Shortstop, you got Willie Adames and Tim Anderson. Now in the outfield, you got Juan Soto, who he's going to cost you an arm, a leg, and your third and three of your four firstborn children. Teoscar Hernandez, who is earning himself a monster contract with the way he's playing this year. Anthony Santander, Alex Verdugo, Cody Bellinger. The outfield, yes, but okay. And then starting pitching, you've already played the Garrett Cole game. I wouldn't bring Blake Snell in here on a bet. Justin Verlander, he's ready to have grandkids come cruising through. So is Max Scherzer. Corbin Burns will be back out there because he only, he got traded to Baltimore, so he'll be a free agent after this season. Max Fried, Shane Bieber. You see where I'm going with all this?
Yeah, there's a lot of names out there, but our pocketbook is pretty sealed tight, and it's not because there's a lot of money in it.
Well, no, the Rangers' pocketbook was steel tight too.
Yeah,
and then they opened it up.
right? And they took a chance, and it worked. Bob Nutting doesn't
Right.
take those chances.
Well, but that's the thing he's got to do. He's got to open up the pocketbook, not only player wise, but I think coaching wise. Because if you remember correctly, who else came with Bochy? Mike Maddox, one of the best pitching coaches in baseball. And last year, the consultant to the pitching staff was Mike's brother, who last I looked was a pretty darn good pitcher in his day. That Greg Maddox fella.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was okay.
Threw the guy that threw more strikes than what was his stat like? He could have thrown like the next 400 balls or something and still wouldn't have thrown as many strikes.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Here's the thing: when you name a type of game after somebody, that means something. You throw a Maddox game; it's a complete game under 100 pitches because he had so freaking many of them. Why? Because the man threw strikes, and he didn't throw 100. I'll bet you he didn't crack 95 too awful many times. But he was so accurate.
I
It
think
was just ridiculous.
that game 7. I think that was one of the few games where he cracked 100.
Yeah. And that's one of the craziest things about Greg Maddox. He was so good, but he was in the playoffs. For whatever reason, and I don't know what it was, he struggled in the playoffs. Glavine, lights out. Smoltz, forget it. Maddox, you could get to in the postseason, and I'm not quite sure why. But I mean, you look at those generational pitchers from that time frame, and everybody talks about, of course, Roger Clemens and Randy Johnson, both top of the line and deserve to be in the discussion. But you look at the best pitcher of that time frame, and it's Greg Maddox.
I'm not going to argue that. I'm not gonna. I would put John Smoltz in that conversation too.
Do what?
Wait, you're talking about faltering in the playoffs?
Yeah. Yeah, Smoltz did fine, Glavine did fine, but Maddox just didn't pitch well in the playoffs. It wasn't that he pitched bad; he just didn't pitch like Greg Maddox. But speaking of pitching, you want to hear a little stat?
Let's do it.
Actually, I got two stats for you. What you want, bullpen or you want starters first?
Starters.
Starters.
Yeah.
The Pirates 1-2-3 rotation: Mitch Keller, Jared Jones, Paul Skeens. Now take into consideration the fact Paul Skeens came up mid-May, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Mitch Keller, 98 innings, 3.20 ERA, 98 strikeouts. Jared Jones, 86 innings, 3.66 ERA, 93 strikeouts. Paul Skeens, 46 innings, 2.14 ERA, and 61 strikeouts.
So if we would have had him on opening day roster like I wanted to, he might be leading the league.
Yeah, I mean he would be right about the same number of innings as Keller. I think he'd probably be right close to 100 like Keller is. But I think he'd be better in ERA and Ks. He'd have about 100 and 110 or so if you extrapolate it out, 110, 115.
That's crazy.
All
Crazy.
three of these guys need a long-term contract in front of them today.
Not going to happen.
People said that about other teams too. I mean, the Braves, look at what the Braves did.
Rich, I'm talking about the Pirates.
I get that. But this is one of those things. The Pirates have to change. What's the definition of insanity?
It's never going to change with the guy in charge, though.
This is what I'm saying. The guy in charge has to change. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. He needs to change what he's doing. The biggest thing he could do right this second is do the same thing he just did with Reynolds and sign Cruz and all three of these starters to 7 to 10 year deals tomorrow. Do just like the Braves did with Riley and Harris and Acuna and all those guys, and they got reasonable. It's not that they were making pocket change; they're making good money, but they're not making $40 million a year either. You froze up, man. So while Adam's getting everything straightened back out on his end, the Pirates have to do that. There's something in the tradition of what they've been doing wrong that they need to stop. And he's back. Okay, you back?
Yeah, I like I said, we got storms rolling through the area, so
Gotcha. Yeah, you froze up for a minute, so I just went it. So go ahead and go back to what you're talking about.
I was moving, and I was like, I'm still moving. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I missed your conversation piece.
Well, no, I was just saying that this is one of those things that they have to break the trend. And the Pirates the nutting has to break the trend. And it's something that the Rangers did. It's something that the Braves did. It's something that a lot of teams have done that have become successful. The Pirates are not going to be the Dodgers or the Yankees. Sorry, not going to happen. They're not even going to be the Phillies. But they can be a team like the Rangers that can spend some money. They don't have to be the highest payroll in the league to win it. We've seen that. The highest payroll in the league hasn't made the World Series in forever in 4 days. So that doesn't make a lick of difference. But they've got to spend money, and they need to have these guys that are young that have been going through the system. That's what they've got to lock up. And that's what the Braves did. And that's what a couple of other teams, Kansas City did the exact same thing.
Right.
Locked up Bobby Witt, locked up Cole Reagans, locked up Vinny Pasquantino. Cleveland did the same thing. Locked up Quan, locked up Ramirez, locked up Shane Bieber. And he's frozen again. That is a funny picture, though. Oh, there he is. He's back.
Yeah, I don't know what. Like I said, I don't know what the hell is going on. But what do you do? I mean, wait, we can sit here and have a fantasy world, open our pocketbook and go nuts and sell out PNC Park every night and get the city rocking again. Or we could be like Bob Nutting and wait for famous teams to come in and hopefully the teams sell out.
Well, I don't think it's a case that we have to, open up the bank and open up the vault and go crazy. They signed Reynolds. Reynolds' contract extension was an 8-year extension for $106 million. So if my math is right, that's about 14 mil a year, 13, 14 million a year. Okay. Brian Hayes, if I remember right, is pretty close to the same thing. Maybe even a little bit less. He's got 10 coming this year, or I'm sorry, 10 coming last year, and 22. He's getting $7 million a year from 24 to 27, and $8 million in 28 and 29, with a club option for $12 million in 2030. Okay. So you go to Skeens and Keller and Cruz and Jones and offer them the exact same contract you offered Reynolds. 14 mil a year, 8 years.
Are they going to want that though? Are they going to want to stay in Pittsburgh?
If they know that there is going to be a winning foundation here, yes. That's the thing, though. They have to know that there's that winning foundation. And that's where they've got to make some hay in free agency and at the trade deadline. I mean, they have to fix center field. They have to fix first base. No questions asked. I mean, I know that Toronto is probably going to be doing a fire sale, and you could rent Vladdy. Actually, I think Vladdy's got this year and next on his deal. Let me look. But I mean, you may have to work something out with that to get Toronto to eat some of the money. Because he is getting, I mean, he is getting paid. Let's see, he signed his 24 salary is 19.9, so he's at 20 million. And he's arbitration eligible next year, and then he's a free agent in 26. So you go to arbitration with him. I mean, if you think he can turn things around in Pittsburgh, you're going to have to give up a couple of guys. You're going to have to give up some of your quality minor league guys, probably 2 or 3 of them. But if Vlad is Vlad and hits you 35 to 40 homers and drives in 120, that solves 2 problems: your 4-hole and your first baseman.
Right, but now they're moving him to third now too.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that.
I don't know if he played that position in high school, a little bit of college. I have no idea. I think his first game was actually at third was against the Pirates.
Yeah, and that was the first game he had played at third base since Pee Wee ball.
Yeah,
Pee Wee ball.
maybe he said he wanted to play the hot corner. I don't know.
I don't know either, but I mean, heck, I think he sees the writing on the wall. I really do. I think that he sees that they are, that he's probably not going to be a Blue Jay next year. But if the Pirates could at least sign him and go through arbitration with him, he hasn't done much this year so far, so he can't really go after much more than what he's making this year. So maybe they have to pay him 20 next year. Okay. But you filled a massive hole. Same thing in center field. I can think of a guy right now that if I was the Pirates, I'd be talking to Baltimore about making a trade. Cedric Mullins has done nothing this year. 0. But I'll bet you that I bet you could make a move to get him. Would he make a difference on this team?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is he better than Michael Taylor?
I don't. Ugh. I hate to say it. That's a toss up.
Say again.
As a toss up. That is.
I mean, he's making $6 million this year. He's arbitration eligible for 25, and then he's a free agent in 26. So it's the same situation as Vladdy. If you could get those 2 guys for 26, 27 million, okay. And you're not spending out the eyeballs, you're not busting the bank.
Yeah, but Mullins was hurt this year, though.
When he was healthy, he wasn't doing anything.
He did it at a home run in PNC Park.
Wow. Okay. But I mean, he hasn't done much all year. He's hitting 214 right now, 8 homers, 26 RBI. I think he's one of those guys that needs a change of scenery.
What's up?
Hey, what's going on? Sorry I am ultra uber late, man.
A little stuck in traffic, huh?
Fucking it's so like in California, there's this one big major heavily traveled freeway called State Route 99. And that links the valley where I live up here to I-5, which takes you down to Southern California. And there's
I-5 whole coast, right?
I'm sorry?
I-5 runs the whole coast.
Yeah, I-5 runs vertical up the whole coast there. So
I drove on the up top part up in Seattle.
yeah, you can get up to Seattle there from there. But when I was coming home on State Route 99, there's all this construction where they're trying to widen the lanes. And so they have these big concrete dividers that have shortened the lanes while they're doing construction. Well, two big freaking semi trucks collided with each other. I think one of them was trying to merge from the right lane to the far lane. And he either didn't look in his blind spot or didn't see the next semi truck to the left of him. And right when he merged, he clipped the semi truck. They both kind of spun around a little bit and blocked the southbound, the northbound traffic. And so we were backed up for like at least 45 minutes. And I literally got in the door like 5 minutes ago, man. That's how messed up it was.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it had traffic backed up for at least 4.5, 5 miles. So it was a pretty bad accident.
Jay, this is Rich. Rich is Jay.
Rich, pleasure to meet you, sir.
Pleasure.
Jay, we're just talking about a little bucko ball here. I know
Yeah.
your daughter, guy, Shohei did lead off the home run tonight. I don't know if you caught that news.
Yeah, I was listening to the game on the radio on the way home.
We were just talking about like key trades coming up, Jay. We're talking about a little bit about what the horizon. We're talking a little bit about who the Pirates should target a little bit. Or Rich has brought up Vlad Guerrero for the Pirates and Cedric Mullins to possibly at least bring in and then go after arbitration from there.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. What do you think?
I would, as a non-Buccos fan and as a pure baseball fan, I think it would be fantastic if the Pittsburgh Pirates would actually be buyers at the deadline rather than sellers. And I think I'm not too familiar with their team payroll, Adam or Rich, but I think that they have some wiggle room here to add some players. And I think getting Vlad Guerrero or getting Cedric Mullins would be two really great additions. I was reading a really interesting article, I think it was on ESPN.com or it was in The Athletic, about those three good young pitchers that the Pirates have with Jared Jones, Paul Skeens, and then the other kid, I just forgot his name. And I'm sorry?
Mitch Keller.
Mitch Keller. Thank you very much. And the article was basically alluding to the fact that if the Pirates really want to display to their fan base how serious they are about building with this young talent, go out and get some solid veteran players to make your team better. You don't have to go out and get the Shohei Ohtanis to become contenders right now. Just get the solid players to make your teams better, because if you look at the Pirates situation right now as it currently stands, I believe they're not too far off from that second and last wild card berth in the National League. And if you're going into a short series, you don't want to face Paul Skeens, Jared Jones, and Mitch Keller. That's just not going to work out for you. And so if the Buccos can add another bat in the middle of that lineup, especially with the way Brian Reynolds is hitting right now, Vlad Guerrero or Cedric Mullins, go out and do it. Even if that means giving up a couple of your prospects in your farm system, go out and do it. Show this fan base that you are committed to winning. And if I'm the executive in the Buccos front office right now, guys, I'm looking at this right now and saying to myself, hey, we have something great going on here right now. We have Skeens, we have Keller, we have Jared Jones. Brian Reynolds is still on our ball club for the foreseeable future. I really love what I see there with Ke'Bryan Hayes. Really love what I see there with O'Neal Cruz. Build around that young nucleus. Get that fan base excited. I remember how excited they were in 2014, 2015, when playoff baseball returned to PNC there and Pittsburgh for the first time since the Barry Bonds era. It was exciting as a baseball fan. I want to see that again. I want to see the Bucks be buyers, not sellers. And if I'm their front office, I'm doing exactly that. And yeah, getting Cedric Mullins is not going to catapult them into elite status. Getting Vlad Guerrero Jr. won't even catapult them into elite status. But what it will do is it will put the other teams on notice, especially in the National League, like the Dodgers, the Braves, the Cincinnati Reds, the New York Mets, who are contending here. Let them know, hey, these guys mean business. If you're Pittsburgh's GM right now, go out and do it. Pull the trigger. Ben Cherington, this is on you, buddy. This is your time to shine as a GM.
Yep, I was just preaching that exact same thing. You know, they're not. Vladdy fills a major hole at first base because Rowdy Tellez ain't it. Cedric Mullins fills a massive hole in center field because Michael A. Taylor ain't it.
No.
But that also gives you your 4-hole hitter in Vlad.
Yeah.
Mullins can hit anywhere in the lineup from 1 to 9, soup to nuts, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and change of scenery. I used the Rangers as an example of what they did here. And you know, they went and they of course got a couple of high priced guys too.
Yeah.
But you know, they got DeGrom and they got Simeon and they got John Gray and they got Seager and Nate Eovaldi and guys like that.
Yeah.
And it's made a difference. Are the Pirates going to do it all in 1 year? No. And by the way, their payroll this year for the active roster is $62 million.
I was going to say,
okay.
I didn't look it up, but I was like, I think it's
yes.
61.
Yeah, so that's I mean, yeah, that's not a great payroll, but that's not exactly a bad payroll for a quote unquote small market franchise either.
It's not the A's.
No, nothing right now is the A's. Poor A's.
I think the three of us could pay their payroll, you know, one paycheck apiece.
Hands down.
I'll tell you what though, they got a kid that I wouldn't mind seeing in black and gold.
Is that?
And it's not the closer.
Oh, it's not Mason Miller, huh?
I like Ben Rooker. I think that kid can play.
Yeah, Rooker's got some skill. He's got some talent. He reminds me a lot of a young Carney Lansford who used to play for the A's back in the mid to late 80s. Doesn't quite have the power that Lansford had, but he's still a pretty good contact hitter. He gets a lot of swings and misses here and there as well, but let's keep in mind also he's still a fairly young player. But yeah, I agree with you, Rich. I love the way he plays the game. I love his hustle. And why wouldn't you want a guy like that on your team? I hear you on that.
Yeah, and he's got some pop, like you said, and plays good defense. And he can play 2 or 3 different positions. Yeah,
his versatility is very important. Very important. But so, yeah, it's going to be real interesting to see what the Buccos do around the trade deadline. And I could even see a situation where they become buyers and sellers. I think if there's a way for Ben Cherington to increase the roster, he obviously needs to do it. And yeah, like, you know, they got more than one spot to address on their roster. And like you said, Rich, they don't need to do it right away this season, but at least put everybody else on notice that, hey, we're no longer settling for the status quo here. We're no longer settling for, oh, poor us, Pittsburgh Pirates, feel bad for us, small market, we. You know, this is a chance to make a statement to your fan base. Got to go out and do it.
Yeah, I think this is the one fan base, I think, in Major League Baseball that a 500 record would make a dramatic difference. Simply because, you know, it would show that massive leap forward.
Yeah.
And then next year, you know, shoot for 85 wins or 88 wins.
Yeah.
If you're 500, you got a legit shot of making a wild card. If you got 85 or 88 wins, you're in the playoffs.
And the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers proved to us last season that if you have 85 or 88 wins, you could even be a World Series contender. So you never know when the dice is going to roll in your favor. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in Central Texas, and I've been I've grew up in Arlington. I was born right outside of Pittsburgh, but I've lived in Texas for almost 40 years now.
Okay.
And so, you know, I've seen the Rangers good. And you know, it just became a thing that they had to open up the wallet a little bit.
Yeah.
They didn't have to go crazy. The Rangers don't have a $300 million payroll. They're not the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Mets, but you know, they're spending a decent amount. If the Pirates, if they were spending $100 million a year, I think they could do a lot with that $38 million difference.
Oh yeah, yeah, most definitely, most definitely. And I've always felt too, especially as it pertains to the small market teams, I think they should be modeling themselves after what the Baltimore Orioles have done, Rich. This is just my opinion. Where the Orioles knew that they couldn't outspend those big spenders like the Dodgers, Yankees, like you said. And so finally, they brought in a GM and Mike Elias who realized that, was able to able to convince ownership, look, instead of harping on you guys day and night about giving us the money we need to outspend these big boys, why don't you give us the payroll that we have, use it and invest it in regutting our farm system, scouting, developing, and drafting wise, and let's build from there. And it was tough at first. The Orioles organization suffered through 3 consecutive 100 loss seasons and 4 consecutive seasons of 90 losses or more. But now look at the end result. They have the top rated farm system in Major League Baseball. They have 5 of the best young players in Major League Baseball on their roster right now. Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Heston Kjerstad is on their roster. Grayson Rodriguez, their pitcher, just to name a few there. And when you look at what they have done, the Orioles' future right now is really, really, really bright. And I think that's what the team like the Pirates need to do. They need to finally say to themselves, look, let's forget about spending with the big boys. Let's scout, develop, draft, rebuild our farm system, get these young talented kids in there, which they have already started to do with guys like O'Neill Cruz, Ke'Bryan Hayes. But let's see them continue that, but then also at the same time, plug in those gaps like we just said here a couple minutes ago.
Well, and they've also done that with Skeens and Keller and Jones at the same time. Yeah. But one of the other things that Baltimore did was they've got a couple of guys that they've either made trades or signed as free agents, biggest of which being Corbin Burns.
Yep.
You bring in that ace. Now, granted, the Pirates have the ace. That's not the problem. Yep. But if they bring in that go-to hitter, they've got the ace. They need the go-to hitter. Baltimore's got the go-to hitters. Yeah, they've got the Rushmans, and they've got the Mountcastles, and they've got the O'Hearns and the Westbergs and the guys like that.
Gunnar Henderson.
They got all that stuff, and of course Gunnar Henderson.
He has another bomb today too.
That's like what? But 5 for him now.
Something like that. He's playing ridiculous ball. He really is. And if Jackson Holiday ever gets it, he's going to be another major piece.
He will eventually.
But I think he will too. But still, that team, I agree with you. I said last year, I thought they were the best team in the American League on paper. I said this year they're the best team in the American League on paper.
Yeah.
But that's why they play 162. Yeah. But, I'm scared. I would, if I'm an American League team, I'm not scared of the Yankees right now. The Yankees are the Cowboys. They'll screw it up.
Rich, usually around this time of year, at least in Major League Baseball, we always hear, obviously, the trade rumors starting to swirl around the sellers as much as the buyers. I'm not hearing a lot of rumors right now about the Buccos being sellers. So what is your take on that? Are you getting that vibe that they are going to be sellers here?
I think the Buccos are buyers. Awesome. I really think that, to me, the two best moves they could make is Vlad and Cedric Mullins. If they could get those two guys or guys of that ilk, because I looked it up a little bit ago. Both of those guys are arbitration eligible at the end of this season.
Yeah.
Both of those guys will be free agents in 2 years. Well, by the time 2 seasons comes through, those guys could very possibly have the attitude of, hey, this is a team that could win and win for a long time, and we're going to stick around. Now we're going to have to bust open the wallet a little bit more, but you could get both of those guys for $30 million.
Yeah, you could. But then when it comes time to forking over long-term money, are they going to be able to do that, especially to a guy like Vlad, who's going to want it eventually down the road here?
Well, but that's the thing about if you're winning for those couple of years and you can show Mr. Nutting sitting up there in the owner's box, you got an ass every 18 inches that's in that stadium because the Pirates are winning 90 games, 85, 90 games. They're making the playoffs. They're doing this, and the money is rolling in. And like I also mentioned to Adam a little bit ago, need to go ahead and put the exact same contract that they put in front of Brian Reynolds in front of Skeens, Jones, and Keller.
Yeah.
8 years, 120. And put that contract in front of all three of them and say, okay, guy, and Cruz. Because then if you know that those guys are locked in, a veteran like a Mullins or like a Guerrero or like a Ryan O'Hearn, who's going to be a free agent, or a Pete Alonso with the Mets or somebody like that, those guys are going to be more open to going to a team like the Pirates because they're building for the future. They're building for now, but they're building for the future at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, I hear you.
I'd love to see it, but I can't see it. I can't see him opening the wallet. I can't. Even when we made the playoffs, that would have been the time to sign. And he did nothing except for let go.
Yeah.
And you figure he would have learned from his mistakes.
Maybe he has.
But then these contracts would be on the board.
Well, I mean, it may be one of those.
Are we dealing with Boris?
What's the old line? Crazy like a fox. That he's sitting there and he's been waiting for this system to do basically, like Jason was saying, that what the Orioles did and what the Astros did, where they grew that farm system and started bringing these guys up, and then all of a sudden, well, okay, now you've got the Pirates with Cruz and with Gonzalez and with Skeens and Jones and Keller. Reynolds ain't that old, boys and girls. Guys like that. Now it's all starting to come, and now he's thinking, okay, maybe we do open up the pocketbook a little bit. I don't want to spend the money to sign some of these guys when I know we're going to lose 80 or 90 games anyway. I want to wait until we've got a chance to win, and then I'll spend the money.
Yeah, but spending the money first sometimes grabs the audience's attention and says they're trying, let's go. Look, I've been a diehard fan. You guys know this. I'm a Cleveland fan, obviously, and they're kicking ass right now. Stephen Voigt, first-year manager, straight out of the game into the manager booth. Who thought that was going to happen?
Well,
but like I was saying,
okay, yeah, but look at that Cleveland roster. I mean, come on. It's not like he walked into the White Sox roster. That Cleveland roster's got a lot, and I mean a lot of talent on it.
Steven Kwan, Jose Ramirez,
Shane Bieber, Emmanuel Clase, Tristan McKenzie, Josh Naylor. Bo Naylor, yeah. You've got Andres Jimenez.
First-year coach. This is still first-year coach.
Right, but if you have that kind of talent, you can have a first-year manager that can have some growing pains. And also, you got to look at who his support staff is, and I'd have to look that up. But I'm willing to bet pitching coach and hitting coach and all that kind of stuff aren't guys that just fell off the turnip truck.
I don't know. It's hard to believe that nothing's going to open the book. It really is. I know, Rich, you're being highly optimistic of it. You're throwing out great points to it, but as a diehard fan, we know he's just not going to do it. He's going to keep us pumped for a couple years with Skeens here, and then he's just going to shut them down. Like, the thing that scares me now, when we get close to 75 wins, okay, say we're there, and all of a sudden they go, innings, and they shut these guys down instead of making a push because they got their money because people are coming to see them now that they're kind of warm. And I can see them doing this because they've done it. Hey, we're shutting you down.
Yeah, I don't.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, Rich, I don't blame Adam's skepticism at all, especially as far as it
I don't
concerns him
either.
being a diehard fan, because he does bring up a good point. And I've heard Bucco's owner Bob Nutting talk a big game before, and he's never been able to back up the talk. And I kind of also compare it to I compare him to Reds owner Bob Castellini. Bob Castellini, you can put in the same category. He's always talked a big game, but when it comes time to securing the players to make your team go from good to great, he hasn't been able to do it. So I don't blame Adam. He's right. Bob Nutting right now is at a point where he literally needs to put his money where his mouth is. And if he's going to really convince this fan base that he is serious about winning like he says he has been, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he has said that he wants to build another winner in Pittsburgh, then
Right.
actions speak louder than words. And that, unfortunately, in Major League Baseball comes with whipping out the checkbook.
No, I'm with you, and I agree. It's not that I'm looking at this with rose-colored glasses. Trust me.
Sure.
I've
Yeah.
been a diehard fan since 77, 78, and I've been through the ups and downs with this team. So that's I've been there. And I agree that yes, he has talked the good game and he hasn't come through with it in the past. But there's also that thing of learning from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Having a guy like Sherrington in there who has developed winners before and things of that, I think that has had an impact on his thought process. I still think that the Pirates are going to be buyers. I still think they're going to make a couple of big moves, not monster moves, but big moves.
Yeah.
I think they're going to make a couple of moves that make a difference on this team.
Mhm.
And then when free agency hits, I think they're going to go after a free agent or two that's really going to make a difference too, whether it be a position player, a bullpen guy, whatever. But I really firmly believe that he's going to open up the pocketbook a little bit. Like I say, if he went to 100 million, that could make enough of a difference.
I could bring us in 3 guys.
Say again.
I could bring us in 3 guys if we're lucky.
Okay.
And
But if the go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I interrupted you. You go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I feel a little bit unqualified to talk about this in a way because I've been a diehard Dodgers fan for as long as I remember. And I'm used to being the fan of an organization whose front office does what they say they're going to do. And regardless of the number of trophies that they have in their case in their executive offices there at Dodger Stadium, say what you will about Andrew Friedman, say what you will about Stan Kasten. Yeah, we only have one World Series trophy to show for 12, 13 years of management there, but at least they go out every year and they ask their owner, Mark Walter, hey, we want to bring in Shohei Ohtani. We want to trade for Freddie Freeman. We want to trade for Mookie Betts. Give us the money we need to sign guys long term, and they do it. So in a way, I feel a little bit not only unqualified to talk about this, but a little bit selfish too, because as a Dodgers fan, I haven't seen a losing season with this organization in close to 20 years.
Yeah. And
what was that, Adam?
Spoiled bastard.
I know, I'm a spoiled bastard. Go ahead and rub it in, dude.
It's like the Penguins.
Okay.
It's like the Penguins, they didn't miss the playoffs for what, 18 years, Rich?
Yeah. Yeah, 18 years.
Now all of a sudden we missed 2 years in a row where we don't know what to think anymore. We're just lost. We're like, great.
Yeah. But as a Dodger fan, let me ask you this, because I hear a lot of people talking about this, and it makes me just beat my head off the wall. Adam and I have talked about this with regards to football too.
Yeah.
You got Dave Roberts catching all kinds of hell.
Yeah.
The team has won over 100 games. What is it? 5 out of the last 6 years or 4 out of the last 5 years?
5 out of the last 6.
They've won the division all these years in a row. They are far and away a playoff team every season. They've had the most wins in the league several years in this little run.
Yeah.
But yet they've been knocked out in the first round a couple of times, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, Dave Roberts should get fired. Would you rather do that and come up short, or maybe be the Rangers who get the World Series and then struggle a little bit after that?
That is an excellent question. That's a tough question to answer because it's so tough to answer because of all the success that the Dodgers have had. 9 of the last 10 years, 13 overall during this Friedman, Stan Kasten, Mark Walter regime. Because they purchased the Dodgers. They made a bid for the Dodgers shortly after 2012 when Major League Baseball was on the verge of owning them. One of the most historic franchises in all of sports was on the verge of being owned by the 29 other teams in Major League Baseball. Obviously, it didn't happen. All for the better. Frank McCourt is a McCrook. We're not even going to talk about him. Where I'm trying to go with my answer is this, is that, Rich, I think with Dave Roberts right now, we've reached the apex here with the Dodgers' success as it involves or pertains to analytics. The Dodgers are one of the most analytically driven organizations in all of Major League Baseball. The numbers dictate their success, not only in the way that they scout and develop talent, the way that they draft it, but in the players that they sign in free agency, the players they trade for, from Mookie Betts all the way down to the Kike Hernandezes. They rely more on the numbers to dictate their success. And unfortunately, that has been Dave Roberts' undoing in the postseason. And when they lost to the Diamondbacks in the division series last October, Max Muncy, I think, encapsulated it all best when he said, we lost this series because of our approach, our philosophy. The Dodgers' philosophy is the numbers. And when you get to October, the numbers do not win the championships. I find it no coincidence that Bruce Bochy, who is Hall of Fame bound, who I think is one of the best in-game strategists of managers in the history of Major League Baseball, led the Rangers to a World Series championship just one season after they lost, 75, 85 games? The reason why is because Bochy is an in-game strategist. He knows when to utilize the bullpen. He knows what guys to bring in what situations. He does not allow a freaking laptop computer to spit out numbers that tell you when to bring in players in certain situations. Dave Roberts relies on those numbers too much. And look, I'm going to go on record as saying this. I like Dave Roberts. I think he is a good, solid manager. He's a very good manager, very good at what he does. He is lauded around the league for his ability to mesh the clubhouse together and bring personalities together. But when it comes to being a strategist in the dugout, Rich, to knowing the P's and the Q's of how to do in-game strategy, Dave doesn't do it. He doesn't know how to do it. And then when it comes to managing a bullpen, he is 10 times worse at managing a bullpen in October than he is in the regular season. And don't give me all this crap about how the Dodgers have the best bullpen ERA in baseball, which they do right now. None of that matters diddly poo when you get to October. Because when you get to October, as we have found out with the Dodgers, you can have the best regular season numbers and still fall flat on your faces. And again, Muncy said last October they lost because of their philosophy, their approach, and their strategy. And that falls on 3 guys: the manager, the hitting coach, and the executive vice president of operations, Andrew Friedman. And until those 3 guys realize that A, analytics are not going to win you championships, and B, most importantly, you need to get better, versatile players on the bench who can come through in the clutch in October, not in May or not in June, July, and August, they're still going to continue to come up short. And I hate to say this about my team because I love my Dodgers. I bleed blue. Adam knows this because I've spread my fandom about this team for so many years. But, Rich, that doesn't mean I can't be skeptical and critical of them at the same time. And you know what? The LA media feels the same way about Doc. Because every time when we lose in October, I'm almost done with my rant, guys. Every time when we lose in October, Andrew Friedman and Dave Roberts come up with excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse as to why they lose. And you know what? They are running out of excuses here. So, again, I love Dave. He's a good players manager, but he needs to learn how to be an in-game strategist if they're going to win more championships here. And it also involves realizing that this thing here and my laptop computer, which I have used to prop up my iPad here, is not going to win you championships. It's what you have in here and what you have in here in your gut. And that's why the Rangers won last season. And that's what the Dodgers need to do to win. There, my rant is finished.
Hold on, I give it a button. Oh, it didn't work.
I was going to say the studio audience giving him a round of applause while we're at it. Well, I can tell you this. I agree with everything. The game is played on the field. If they played it on paper,
yes,
it would have been the Orioles and the Dodgers last year in the World Series, and we would have had, but that's why they play the game.
Yep.
And analytics is really good for certain things.
Yeah.
But like you said, it can't measure the heart a guy has. It can't measure their intelligence.
Nope.
Some of these guys, they may not put up the best numbers in the world. They may not be. Michael Young is a perfect example of that. Michael Young, that used to play for the Rangers many years, played for the Dodgers for a couple of years, a year or two. Yep. One of the best players in baseball. Never hit 30 homers. Won a couple of Gold Gloves at 3 different positions.
Yep.
He won a second, short, and third. 1-2 hitter all the time. Drove in 75, 80 runs. Ran the bases better than anybody I've ever seen put on a Texas Rangers uniform. But if you went strictly by analytics, he'd be on the bench somewhere. But he ended up with over 2,000 hits for his career. Things like that. I agree with you. And the more I'm sitting here thinking about it, the Dodgers bench isn't that deep.
It's awful.
When you sit there and look at it.
It's awful. I mean, if you look at their bench right now, their bench is comprised of 4 guys who combined are not batting .230 as a unit on that bench. You have Chris Taylor, who is batting right now a hefty 105 or 108. Kike Hernandez, who is barely batting 170 right now. You also have, I already mentioned Chris Taylor. I mentioned Kike Hernandez. You also have on that bench as well, off the top of my head here, who else is really stinking it up there?
Cavan Biggio.
Thank you. Yeah, Cavan Biggio, and I don't know what his long-term future is. And so, yeah, Rich, I think if anything, look, we know that the Dodgers are going to be active at the trade deadline. They always are. And yeah, they're being associated with some of the bigger names out there, the Vlad Guerreros, the Bo Bichette's, and all blah, blah, blah. And yeah, that's great. They need those guys. But honestly, they need more versatility on their bench. They need more depth on their bench. But more importantly, they need versatility and depth on their bench of guys who know how to hit in the clutch in October. It's not just enough to get those guys to add versatility. If I'm Andrew Friedman right now, and I'm looking at my bench, and I realize what I have here, and I'm thumbing through my Rolodex, thumbing through my laptop, looking at available players and trades, yeah, I'm going to be inquiring about Bo Bichette, but I'm also going to be inquiring about the utility player who may bat .240 in the regular season, but when October comes, bats .310 with runners in scoring positions, because that's what the Dodgers really need the most of. And also, they're pitching too. They're going to need another pitcher at the deadline because Clayton Kershaw had a setback in his rehab. We don't know what we're going to get out of him, if anything at all. Bobby Miller has not looked good in his stints from the injured list. We don't know what we're going to get from him. We don't know what we're going to get from Walker Buehler, if anything else at all. So this Dodgers pitching staff, which they are so proud to praise in regards to their depth right now, to me, in my opinion, is a B- squad. Now, they put up league best numbers because they have a great pitching coach in Mark Pryor who knows how to work with them. But this rotation is getting overworked, Rich, and so we need to get another starter that can go deeper than 6 innings other than Tyler Glasnow.
Jace, I'll tell you what, man. I'm looking at an all-star starting lineup on the injured list.
Yep.
Walker Buehler, Tony Gonsolin, Clayton Kershaw, Joe Kelly, Dustin May, Emmett Sheehan, and Yamamoto.
Yep. And so let's see. Of those guys you just mentioned, Emmett Sheehan not coming back this year. Dustin May probably not coming back this year.
Right.
Yamamoto probably won't be back until mid to late August. Max Muncy, who knows when he's going to come back. Clayton Kershaw.
And I feel bad for Max. He played at Baylor. I got to know Max when I was covering Baylor. And I feel bad for Max. He's a good dude.
He's a good dude, and he tends to get. I think he tends to get labeled incorrectly by the LA media because he's such a one-dimensional hitter. But believe it or not, I think a lot of LA's recent hitting problems coincided with Muncy going on the injured list. So say what you will for Max. Now, even though LA's improved a little bit here, even without Mookie Betts, they've gone 6-2 or 6-3 since Mookie Betts went down. Still, their lineup hasn't been the same without Muncy. So say what you will about his numbers. At least when he's in that lineup, he gives it length and he gives it more depth with another left-handed hitter in that lineup.
And the one thing I think that has really made a difference for the Dodgers, I mean, I know when they made the deal, I went, oh no, because I have him on my fantasy team and he's been a stalwart on that team.
Yeah.
But when they made the deal to get Teoscar Hernandez, he not only is a huge part in the outfield, and I think his defense is very underrated, but he is having an absolutely tremendous offensive year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll bet you he gets some MVP votes if he keeps this up.
He will. He currently ranks second in the National League in RBIs. I think he ranks third in slugging percentage, top 10 in home runs. So yeah, he could garner some MVP votes. And if he's not in that All-Star game, Rich, at least as a reserve, I'm going to be fit to be tied, man. He deserves to be on that All-Star team.
No question. No question.
What's up, Adam?
You remember in the beginning of the season, I said, how excited are you about Teoscar Hernandez? I was pumped he went to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I was pumped. I was like, that was a bat they didn't need.
Yep.
It was fielding they needed, but I was being sarcastic about the bat because, I've had him on my fantasy team. It seems like every year I end up with him, and I'm like, man, I don't.
But I mean, when you look at that front five, when they're healthy, when you look at that front five of the batting order, when you go Betts, Ohtani, Freeman, Smith, who, by the way, is having a hell of a year too, and Hernandez, I mean, that first five, you're going, oh, okay, if I survive this, then I've got, maybe Pajes or Hayward or, somebody like that coming in behind it. Maybe Rojas.
Rich, you got to remember that lineup has changed now with Betts being injured.
Well, it has, but it hasn't. It's in essence a 4 deep instead of a 5 deep. Or so it seems to me anyway, because you still got to deal with Ohtani, Freeman, Smith, and Hernandez.
Well, you know what? I think
Page is looking pretty good out there in LA too, Jay.
Yeah, and you know what? I think in a way here, Mookie's injury has kind of been a blessing and a curse for the Dodgers because what we're seeing right now is what Shohei Ohtani can do as a leadoff hitter, which, in my estimation, has been a whole lot better than when he was batting in the 2 spot. And so when Mookie is eligible to come off the injured list, it's going to make me wonder now, are they still going to continue to shift their lineup? Will Doc and the guys keep Shohei at leadoff, maybe have Mookie bat second, or even have Freeman bat second with Mookie third? Who knows what they could do with that?
That's exactly what I was thinking. You leave Freeman in the 2-hole. To me, and I've said this since he was with Atlanta, he is very quietly one of the best hitters in baseball. On the very short list of best hitters in baseball. Yeah. And he doesn't have a lot of flair, panache, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But the numbers are there, and he comes through in the clutch. And I'd hit him. I wouldn't have a problem with going lefty right off the bat, because with those 2 lefties, I don't care if they were hitting with the bat hanging between their legs. They're going to hit the ball.
Yeah. So, and what we're also seeing with this lineup now with Mookie out of it too is that they're being forced to find other ways to manufacture runs other than the home run. Because when you have the power that's unevenly distributed in that lineup with Shohei and Freeman and Will Smith and Teoscar being your top 4 home run hitters, you're obviously not going to stack them 1 through 4 in that lineup. But that's making the other guys like Pajes hit a little bit better. That's making the other guys like even Chris Taylor starting to swing the bat better. I never thought I would hear myself say that. And so, Yeah, I know, right? So I mean, Chris Taylor's swing, his swing has so much torque and so much energy in it. He is literally responsible for 60% of California's alternate fuel sources here in the state. But yeah, it's forcing the Dodgers to start to learn now how to manufacture runs by means other than the home run ball, which again is a blessing and a curse for him.
Well, and I think one of the other things too that it's showing for the Dodgers is the value of Miguel Rojas.
Yes, they are perfect as a team when he gets at least one hit in their lineup, which begs me to ask Andrew Friedman. Andy, I hope you're listening. What do your analytics tell us about Rojas that tell you about Rojas that they are not telling us? Yes, I know Rojas is 34, 35, can't play every day, but you can get him in there 3 out of every 4 games, and he's not only going to give you Ozzie Smith caliber defense at shortstop, but he's also going to put the ball in play. Hello, Andy. Wake up. Get him in that lineup more when Mookie comes back. Stick him at short. Put Mookie back at second. Trade Gavin Lux. Get him out of there. We don't need him. That's how it should be. That's just my opinion, though.
Jay, I have a question as an outsider.
Yeah.
I've been saying he should be in the All-Star game since he threw his first pitch. But do you think Skeens should start the All-Star game?
Yes, Skeens should start in the All-Star game. Not only do I think he's deserved that, Adam, but I look at it through this lens as well. Major League Baseball is the worst professional team sport in North America at marketing its young stars. And Major League Baseball right now is at an apex where it is trying to do what it can to lure younger fans to the game. And when you look at a guy like Paul Skeens, he is one of these young players, along with Elly De La Cruz, along with even a guy like Shohei Ohtani, who's not really young per se anymore, but still attracts the younger fans there. Skeens needs to be in that All-Star game. He is an exciting pitcher to watch. He's going to win Cy Young Awards one day. He may even win an MVP award. When you have an exciting young player who's pitched at an All-Star level already, and you can look at his numbers and debate them and whether or not you figure they're All-Star worthy, that's up for a different discussion. But what I'm trying to say here is that Skeens needs to be on that team, not only because he deserves to be on it, but he's good for the game. He's exciting for the game. He will attract young fans to the game. Yes, put him in there. I don't care what the prognosticators say. Let him be a starter. To me, it doesn't matter who starts for the National League or the American League. But I want to see Skeens in that game because when the Pirates played the Dodgers, I was thoroughly impressed with the way he shut down our lineup. This kid has got some stuff. He is a star in the making. Get him in that damn game.
Well, Ohtani did get to him, Jay.
Well, okay. Ohtani aside, Adam, thanks for being Mr. Naysayer there.
Well, not the first at bat, though.
No, that's true. He got Ohtani on the first at bat, but the second one, Ohtani got his just revenge there. I think he hit a solo shot off Skeens?
Yeah, or left center, I believe.
Yeah, left center.
And there's one other thing you got to kind of think about with Skeens too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have kind of let this go off to the side this year.
Yeah.
The man can hit. The man hit 40 home runs at LSU.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude can swing the stick. You know, everybody talks about Ohtani.
Yeah.
Skeens can swing the bat too if worse came to worse. I'm getting more and more warm to this possibility of Skeens starting.
Yeah.
And I've really been looking at the National League, and really the only pitcher that I can see numbers-wise that would even hold any kind of possible look besides Skeens is Ranger Suarez.
Yep.
I mean, his numbers are just flat ridiculous this year. But
yeah, they're phenomenal.
That's the only one that's got the numbers that I think would stop Skeens. Fortunately, it's not oh man, I'm drawing a blank on the manager's name. It's not Rob Thompson that's managing the National League. It's Torey Lovello.
Yep, that's right. So it will be interesting to see who Torey picks. But yeah, I think Skeens needs to be in that game. And if he's not going to be a starter, then he needs to be in it in general. He's exciting for the game. Get him in there.
Yeah.
I'm right with you, boys. I started this whole thing. Rich was I remember the first time I said it, Rich was like, well, let's not jump that far yet.
See, I was going on the Keller train.
Okay.
Because Well, no, I mean, look at what Keller's done this year. I mean, he's
Mhm.
got all-star numbers up there. The
Yep.
guy's 8-3 with a 3 ERA, and you know, is he the most exciting pitcher in the league? No, but he gets the job done. Skeens has all the and he's kind of got that crossover appeal too because of his girlfriend.
Ah, I see where you're going with that. I like that.
His girlfriend. I thought we were leaving her out of this conversation. I just see that you cuddled on a boat on the river, so
All right.
see what these two know. Actually, I think that was her Instagram had fallen her on one of the boats out there on the river with PNC in the background. It was a cool picture, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, I'm just saying it was a good picture. All right, kids, that's it.
He is definitely that. He's definitely that.
He's a lucky son of a bitch.
Good for him.
Anyway, that's what happens when you can hit 40 bombs because chicks dig the long ball, right?
Yes, they do. Still, they dig the long ball.
So Jay, living
When you
in
don't get
go ahead, Rich.
and when you don't give up the long ball.
Yeah, when you don't give up the long ball too. That's right.
Jay, so we were kind of like feasting this idea, pitching it around a little bit. I wasn't sure how to do it, but in a fantasy world, what trades would you make as a Dodger manager?
Oh, fantasy
Not
world.
reality, fantasy.
Not reality, just fantasy. Okay. In fantasy, here's the trade that I would make. And I hope Jamie in New York is sitting back and listening to this right now. Jamie, you're gonna love this. In my fantasy world, if I was Andrew Friedman, I would pull off a trade for none other than, you got it, my man from Fresno State, Aaron Judge. Let's get him in Dodger blue. I want to see him in that outfield with the LA Dodgers. And again, Jamie, I hope you're listening, buddy. Aaron Judge is having.
They were live last I looked, Jay. When you logged in, were they still live?
They were when I last looked, yeah. So I think they're not paying attention, which is probably a good thing. But yes.
Pop right over here.
And what I would do to get Aaron Judge, if I was Andrew Friedman, I would trade my 3 top prospects right now. I would trade Dalton Rushing, their catching prospect. I would trade another catching prospect, Diego Cartaya. And then I would trade another infield prospect by the name of Jose De Paula, 3 of their top 25 players in their farm system. And I would trade, from their current roster. Hell, I would even be bold enough to try and dump Jason Hayward on them to get Aaron Judge. But I want Aaron Judge and Dodger blue. That's the deal I would make in a fantasy world.
By the way, he just hit one that went to Staten Island.
Yes, he did. And so, yeah, Rich, I went to Fresno State, and I covered Aaron Judge as a student sports writer for our college paper at Fresno State. And Let me tell you, the most home runs he hit at Fresno State, it was in his sophomore season, and that was 12. And he had so many holes in his swing, he made Swiss cheese jealous. But I could clearly tell all the work that he got in at the major league level, because his swing now is more refined, it's more fluid, and it's more in sync with his wind up and his follow through. But yeah, he's making everybody here in Fresno proud. And go Dogs, pride of the Dogs, man. Go Bulldogs. Aaron, come back to LA, buddy. That's what I want.
Well, you were talking earlier about young guys for young people to get excited about, and he's another one.
He is.
He's from everything I've seen, he's a good guy. Yep. He's very approachable.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, he's a talented guy, of course, but he's another one that would get young people excited. I mean,
he already has.
How many 99 jerseys do you see everywhere? Not just at Yankee games, everywhere.
Everywhere. Well, here in Fresno, 99 Yankee jerseys litter the streets. And here in Fresno, from a fan standpoint, we have a lot more Giants fans in this area than we do as far as professional baseball goes. This area has always been affiliated with the Giants organization. We've had Giants minor league affiliates here before. So we're always going to have a lot of Giants fans here. But we do have a good deal of Dodger fans, and then Yankee fans are probably third in the pecking order there. And yeah, Rich, every time I drive around the streets of Fresno here at home, when I'm not seeing Giants jerseys, when I'm not seeing Dodger jerseys, I'm seeing number 99 Yankee jerseys. So you're right. His effect it's global right now. He's about as big globally as Shohei Ohtani is, as I'm not going to say Kobe Bryant in basketball. That's kind of an unfair description there or comparison.
Yeah.
But
Give him a few years.
Yeah, from a global standpoint, he's a marketable product. He's a fantastic young player at the height of his career right now.
He really is.
Yeah.
Rich, I don't remember. You weren't at the game when he hit 62, were you?
No.
Okay, I was just wondering. I mean, he did do it in Globe Life. So.
Yeah, but no, I wasn't.
Logan was
I
there.
wasn't.
Was at the game. Our good buddy Logan, Jay.
I remember Logan. Yadier Molina.
Let's just say Logan didn't really like Yadier Molina.
No.
All.
Yeah, you will not see a Molina jersey in Logan's closet, suffice to say.
Wow. Okay. All right.
All love for you, Logan. If you're watching, all love for you, buddy.
Oh, man. Rich, what would be your dream fantasy trade now that Aaron Judge is off the board?
For the Pirates? Oh my gosh.
And you can't say
Can we dig up?
Shohei.
Can we dig up Willie Stargell and bring him?
Andy Van Slyke.
Oh no, I'll tell you true, and it's funny because I would make the move from one of my teams to the other one. And I know this is going to sound really weird, but if you think about it, I would make the move to trade Marcus Semien to the Pirates.
Okay, interesting.
Because he's an experienced player.
Mhm.
He's a solid player. He's a tremendous leadoff guy who's going to hit you home runs and drive in runs. But he also has experience at shortstop to work with O'Neal Cruz.
Mhm.
He also has the ability he's the captain of this team, and he would probably be the captain of the Pirates squad next to Brian Reynolds once McCutchen moves on. And he would be a very solid veteran presence there. And then you could move Gonzalez over to third, put Cabrian Hayes on first, eliminate Hayes' back issue. And so, yeah, that's what I would do. And what you'd have to give up, Skeens. No, I'm kidding. No, but I think you'd have to.
I am sure you would be super pumped if Skeens was pitching in your backyard.
Oh, yeah. If we were rolling out a rotation of DeGrom, Scherzer, Skeens, and Evaldi, oh, yeah, that would be – yeah, I could live with that. But no, and to trade for him, I would definitely look at sending Triolo. And it would probably end up costing Pagaris, too.
They would probably want Nick Gonzalez, too.
I don't know, because when you look at yes, you would. Well, I'm looking at putting Triolo at second to take Simeon's spot. You've got Josh Young at third. You got Corey Seager at short. So I don't really know where Nick Gonzalez would go on the Rangers. Whereas he is a extremely valuable piece to what the Pirates have come in the next 5, 7, 9 years. What about you?
I would love to see Corey Seager here. I'd love to see Trey Turner here. I'd like to see Aramis Ramirez. I mean, Jose Ramirez. Sorry, Jesus. I would love to see that bat in PNC Park.
Jose Ramirez, that would be a really good pick. Buccos. That would be a sneaky good move.
That might bring Terry Francona here too.
I thought Tito was done managing. Maybe he'll come out just to manage Jose in Pittsburgh. You never know.
Well, he has said that he would consider coming back for the right situation.
Okay.
Well, I mean, what better situation than your home team that is in that stage that you've taken teams from before and threw them over the top?
Yeah.
Because he did it with Cleveland. He did it with Boston, where, they were – he took them from here to here.
Yeah.
Why not do it again?
Okay, he can do it. Yeah, anything's possible in this game. Anything's
and
possible.
have the home cooking at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah. So I that would also bring the third base situation under control. We could put Hayes at first. We could either even keep Tellez. Because now all of a sudden you got another bat to put there where they might have to pitch to one of the two.
Well, you might need to send Tellez to Cleveland for part of that deal.
You would love that.
What do you want me to tell you?
I don't know. I just would like to see Ramirez here.
That would be good. That would be real good.
To get him, who knows? Who knows? I mean, I know it's unrealistic. It might require a first round draft pick for next year and some prospects. Who knows? Maybe it is doable. Cleveland would never.
I would be willing to bet. I'd be willing to bet it would take one of the top 3 pitchers.
I would give up. I'd probably give up Keller because he's the oldest.
Yeah, makes sense. Build around Jones and Skeens, hopefully.
Because I think Ramirez and Keller are about the same age, late 20s.
I believe so. Yes. Keller is going on season 8, I believe, right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Jose Ramirez is 31.
So he's been in the league for 10 years now.
Yep.
And Mitch Keller is.
Oh, so if Jose Ramirez
28,
if he's been in the league for 10 years, if he gets traded, he possibly has 10 and 5 veto rights then, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah, 10 years in the league, 5 years with one team. And so if you have the 10 and 5 rights with one team, then you can veto any trade. So, hey, if the Guardians say, hey, let's go ahead and dump you off in Pittsburgh's lap, Jose can say, wait, no. I'm not authorizing that just yet.
And he has actually 12 years.
So he's more than 10 and 5.
Yeah, he came up as a 20-year-old in 2013.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah. So what?
He's finished in the top 6 of the MVP voting 5 times and never won it.
Nope, that's crazy.
He has a second, 2/3, a fourth, and a sixth.
Wow, that's crazy good, but that's also really bad at the same time because you're like, how can he not win an MVP in any of those years? What's going on here?
Who won him, Rich? Obviously, you're on that page.
Oh, let's see. Let me see if it pulls it up. 17, it was Altuve. 18, it was. Come here.
Screw Altuve in 17.
Huh?
Screw Altuve in 17. F that. Sorry. Emotional outburst.
Your boy Betts in 18.
Yep.
2020. You ready for this one? 2020. Jose Abreu.
Oh, for the White Sox. That's right.
2021. I'll give you a hint. He would be a pitcher for you next season.
Wait, say that again. He would be a pitcher for us next season?
For you next season.
Clayton Kershaw?
Oh, Shohei
2021
Ohtani.
AL MVP. Yeah, Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, with the Angels. Okay. Yeah, sorry. It took me a while.
22 was Judge.
Aaron Judge. Okay.
That was the year he hit 62.
Okay. Well, I can see that then.
But yeah, I mean, a few of those I could see.
As far as Altuve 17, F that. Bang the trash cans.
No. But Betts and Trout were ahead of him in 18.
Yeah.
22 with Judge. 2020 with 2021 where he came in 6th. He had Ohtani, Guerrero, Simeon, Judge, and Correa ahead of him.
Yeah.
So, but Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, overall, Tuve, yeah, and he came in third that year. He was behind Altuve and Judge that year.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, 12 years, he's hit 237 homers, and he has 217 steals. Very underrated stat of his.
Always underrated because he doesn't get warm till the end of March. I mean, the end of April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always
279 career.
good. Good.
No, 279 career batting average. Has led the league in intentional walks 2 of the last 3 years. Does that tell you anything?
Yep. Tells me he is one heck of a hitter.
And he's a switch hitter on top of that, which makes him even more dangerous.
Yep.
And he's a good switch hitter too. He's not a mediocre at either side.
Right.
Well,
Right.
he just here's an extra nugget for you guys. He just passed Manny Ramirez for third on the all-time Cleveland Guardians Indians home run list.
I think he hit one today.
Yeah, he did. That's the one that put him past Manny for third on the list.
By the way, dumbest name in sports, Cleveland Guardians, in major sports, Cleveland Guardians.
You should hear all the stories about the people that got pulled over on that bridge, got DUIs. That they're reminded of.
Or are you on the Washington Commanders bandwagon?
I'm going to say it's a distant tie. I'm going to say the Commanders is probably the worst name. So they're 1. Guardians is probably 1A. The other terrible team sports name, which hasn't been changed in a long time, is the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets. Are you kidding me? The Nets. And Rich, you probably remember an old basketball team that played in Texas a while back by the name of the Dallas Chaparrals. I mean, they later became, I think, the San Antonio Spurs. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They did.
So it's like the team name Chaparrals. It's like, what? What is a chaparral, Rich? Help me out here. I'm not from Texas.
Chaparral is a road runner, and you find them all over. Yeah.
Okay.
My junior high was the Hutchinson Chaparrals.
Okay. All right.
A chaparral is a road runner, and you find them all over Texas, particularly North Texas. So that fit the region and that kind of thing. That was their ABA team, and then they went to, when they turned into an NBA team and went to San Antonio, they became the Spurs, which obviously fits. Yep. I still question where the Jazz clubs are in Utah.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I agree. Guardians, I hate the team name. They should have just stayed the Indians. I'm going to get into that debate on a much later time on a later show.
Yeah, but if they were going to change it, I had the perfect name, and I just don't understand why they didn't think of this. The Rockers.
I think they had contemplated it at one time. They even contemplated going back to being called the Cleveland Spiders, because there was an old baseball team named the Spiders at one point.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, I you said you wanted to get into this later, but there were 3 Indians that literally played on the team, and that's who they named it after.
Yep.
It makes no sense. No one looked over history. It's a bunch of garbage.
Well,
the Rockers fits because of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
And Adam, while you're talking about sports history, may I also remind a lot of the cancel culture out there that the Washington Redskins name was actually approved by a Native American tribal leader who actually thought that was honoring their Native Americans rather than insulting them. So, yeah, there you go. Just, well, never mind. This is not about politics. I'm not going to get into my political beliefs here.
Well, but to put a little bit more on what you said, the picture of the logo is an actual person. It's not something created from somewhere.
Yeah.
It's an actual Indian chief.
And you know what? I still have an old Cleveland Indians hat that I got in '97. The old Chief Wahoo hat with the Chief Wahoo logo on it. I was a big Indians fan.
The blue one, Jay.
What?
The red one and the blue brim, or the all blue brim, all blue, or the red brim, or the red round with the blue brim? No,
I got the black hat with Chief Wahoo on the front.
Nice.
And Yeah, I was a big fan of the Indians back in the late 90s when they had Tomei and Manny, and Hershiser was on that team. And so, yeah, there was a point where I would walk around town with that old Indians hat, and I would have people, cuss at me and call me racist names because I was wearing that hat. I'm like, give it a rest, people. Come on, whatever. Whatever.
No, the Atlanta Braves had Chief Nakahoma.
Yep. Oh, yep.
Florida State.
No,
The
I
Seminole tribe. The
Well,
Seminole tribe has even said that they're down with it. They're very. Florida State is honoring them by having that as their deal, and people still flip out about it.
Yep.
like I have an actual tomahawk chop somewhere. I have to bring it up. When I went to Atlanta, I was like, "There's one thing you're gonna buy at Atlanta. There's one thing I need to have, and that way I can be reminded of Barry Bonds can't throw out Sid Bream. I gotta have a tomahawk chop."
The fleet-footed Sid Bream. That's right.
I think it's funny. Like when I worked at the airport, Sid Bream checked in, and I was like, "Just tell me you were stealing. Just tell me you were stealing, so all my childhood can be like relieved." And he goes, "I wasn't stealing."
Oh, jeez.
I was like, "Thanks, Sid. Thanks."
And the pin went through the balloon.
And Adam, I'm going to tell you, I saw Mike LaValliere, the catcher, place the tag. He was out. He was out. Still out to this day. Mike LaValliere, you're vindicated, buddy.
Instant replay, he'd have been out.
Yeah, exactly.
It was close.
Yep.
Now,
Or so would have what's his face in the 19th inning a couple of years ago.
Now the one you mean the one in Atlanta that was clearly out? One that Mike McHenry.
Yeah, I can't remember who he tagged out.
Said he was out by a fucking mile. He didn't say fucking, but anyway. And after when we were in our conversation, just me and him on the show, I go, was that like the end of the Pirates season? Like, did everything just fall apart? Because it just seemed like that was it. Like that game just took all the gas out of the car for at least the next 3 weeks. I mean, we were awful those next 3 weeks after that. And he's like, that was probably the one point in the season that I can point to and say, yeah, that was the killer. So anyway, Rich, Jay, we're going on 2 hours. Jay, we've had you for an hour, and I'm grateful. It's well past your time of being on our show. But, stuck in traffic. I think being stuck in traffic kind of benefited us.
It did. First of all, it fueled my Dodger rant about Dave Roberts. So that was good show right there. That was good entertainment. So maybe I need to be stuck in traffic more often here, Adam.
I'm pretty good at opening doors.
Yeah, right?
I've been doing radio long enough. I can open a door.
I did radio for 15 years, Rich. So you're preaching to the choir on that, my friend.
I just celebrated my 20th anniversary in May.
Oh, wow. Awesome. That's congratulations. I did 15 years. So
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Jay, Rich worked for CBS pretty much in a couple places.
ESPN and other places, and Fox Sports and other places.
Yeah, see, I worked for an NPR affiliate, Rich, so you'll probably call me a radio wannabe.
No. Radio is radio.
Yes, it is. Very much so.
But no, it was really cool. When Baylor went to the NCAA championship, and they did that whole thing during the went through Waco and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
All that stuff they did in the studio.
Yeah.
That was me. That was with me.
Nice.
My voice and the whole works. Yeah. So I was actually on the national championship pregame show.
All right. Awesome. That is awesome, dude. I'm gonna archive some of that footage there on YouTube and listen to you there.
It was really weird because I got the phone call from CBS.
Yeah.
And they're like, I saw the CBS thing and I'm going, yeah, but this is from New York. What's going on? I didn't deal with anybody in New York. And hello, yeah, we want to schedule some time to come in and do a piece on you guys. Oh, sure, yeah. It didn't click, what it was for. And I said, yeah, great, no problem. And I mean, they were there for probably, I don't know, an hour recording me
Okay.
and doing part of a show and all that kind of stuff. And they
Yeah.
used like 80 seconds of it, but hey,
Hmm.
you know, it was one of those things of, you know, it was an honor to be a part of it.
Hey,
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Awesome. That's cool.
that's awesome, Rich. That's awesome. Um, anything more, guys? I think we covered a lot of topics tonight.
Yep. We have. I'm all spent for one night. We'll do it again sometime soon here.
I kind of like
Sounds
you being
good.
like your wife probably like angry as shit at you right now because it is 8 o'clock.
Yeah, she's actually been texting me. Her latest text was, "What the fuck are you doing? WTF are you doing?"
Yeah, and this is where you text her back and be like, Adam just informed me that Dak Prescott is a top 5 quarterback this year.
Oh, yeah.
I read-
My wife is a diehard Cowboys fan. She's gonna love that.
Your wife's going to hate me.
Why? Are you a Niners fan?
Just wait. I am a diehard Steelers fan and the biggest Cowboy hater in Texas.
Oh, okay. Secretly between you and
and
me? Good.
and I have zero problems saying it and zero problems backing it up. Anybody that's known me long enough knows I can't stand the Cowboys. And I enjoy the fact that there are people that now are getting close to having grandchildren that have never seen the Cowboys in an NFC championship game.
Rich, my friend,
Yes, sir.
I'm a diehard Packers fan. You're not going to get any disagreement from me.
So that NFC game last year,
Yep.
Jay's a little bit on edge.
Yeah, I was still a little bit chapped in the hide about that, but hey, you know, you live some, you lose some, you live and learn, you move on, go on to the next season.
You got a promising future out there. I mean,
We do.
Jordan Love looks like he's going to be all right, and got yourself some receivers out there.
Yep. Now we got to get Brian Gutekunst to give him the contract. Come on, Brian, step up to the plate there, buddy. Anyway, I do got to check out here, guys. It's been fun talking ball with you again. Adam, always a pleasure to be on the show, my friend. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Jay. You know you're welcome anytime, buddy. You're welcome to the Dodgers show anytime too.
I'll bring you up to speed on that. I haven't been slacking on it. I'll keep you up to date on that.
I like it. Jay, how do
Good to meet you, man.
you hit that leave button, leave studio button? Don't hit end stream today. Jay, the first time Jay logged in backstage, Rich, when he left, he just hit end stream, and everything ended, and we were still in the middle of a show. I go, guys, that was Jay's first time leaving the studio, like actually not getting, like actually able to see it, and he thought he had to hit end stream, but that didn't happen. And we were bullshitting for a minute, and I go, someone hit end stream, guys, and they're like, what?
Hey, like I said, you live and learn.
Right.
Right.
Anyway, how do people get a hold of you? What's your
Yeah, so I don't have a podcast now, but I do have a Twitter handle, an X handle. It is called Dodger Jason. It's right there. So feel free to follow me, interact with me. And yeah, again, Adam, thanks a lot. Always a pleasure, my friend. Rich, it was a pleasure meeting you, talking ball with you as well. Hope we get to do it again in the not too distant future here, sir.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure, man. Let's do it again soon.
Yep, will do. Okay, you guys take care. See you on the flip side. God bless.
all righty.
See ya.
All right, Rich. Yeah, Jason's great. He's very knowledgeable. Obviously, you know that
Yeah.
now. I will talk ball. Obviously, he's the Packers fan, but you know, doing fantasy football, you kind of get to know all the teams.
Yeah, you do. You do. The people that play smart fantasy football, anyway.
Right. Yeah. So like my one sleeper team is pretty much all Green Bay Packers.
Oh.
I inherited this team from a guy that traded everything away and got nothing in return. I had to salvage this team from scrap, Rich. This guy traded CJ Stroud for Bryce Young. Just to let you know what kind of Zach.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let that one sit for a second.
No, you don't have to.
Wow, that's like trading Patrick Mahomes for Dak Prescott. I mean, come on.
So here I had A-Chain when I started and Zach Moss. So at least I had two running backs that might start.
Right.
I traded the guy drafted Nablers, and I had Daniel Jones. I managed to trade him, Danny Jones, for Jordan Love, Christian Watson. I ended up getting Drake London in a trade. I mean, it is awful, but it's pretty awful.
Well, yeah, especially it didn't help to have Drake London whenever you had Arthur Jones was the head coach, or Arthur Smith, sorry, as the head coach.
Now we got a slinger in Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, you do.
So Drake London and I already had Kyle Pitts. So and I didn't know this was a tight end friendly league where they get like an extra half point because per catch.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this, but I traded Njoku, which I have a trouble running Cleveland Browns out on my fantasy team. So I traded him.
Yeah.
I didn't know this at the time that it was a 0.5 extra point for, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, Rich. I could not keep Njoku. I couldn't keep a Brown. I couldn't do it.
The only Cleveland player that I have had in probably the last 7 or 8 years that I've kept has been Nick Chubb, and I bench him when he plays the Steelers.
Right. I also have Mike Gesicki, who might.
When he was in Miami, that was fine, but when he went to New England, he went straight in the crapper.
Right, but Burrow likes tight ends in the red zone.
Did he go to Cincinnati now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize he went to Cincinnati. My bad.
Like
I knew he was in New England last year.
I also have I also got Austin Eckler. But here's the funny thing, like I have all the backups. It's so weird. I have
I'm actually intrigued to see what Eckler does in Washington.
I have Brian Robinson. I have Chuba Hubbard in case.
Okay.
The hell's that guy? The rookie, Jared Brooks.
Jonathan Brooks.
The kid out of Texas.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan Brooks.
In case he gets hurt, I do have Hubbard.
Which very well may happen because he got hurt at Texas quite a bit.
I do have Deuce Vaughn and Rico Doolittle in case Elliott's age shows up and he can't play anymore. I don't care. I inherited this team, Rich.
I like Rico Dowdle. I think Rico Dowdle is going to be a decent ball player. I don't get what Zeke's role will probably be the same thing that the Bus did the last year or two of his career. It's 3rd and 1, hand the guy the ball and just let him roll into the end zone. That's pretty much going to be Zeke. I don't foresee Zeke carrying it 15, 20 times a game. That's just not going to happen. That's going to be Dowdle.
So here's one for you. Did you know N'Keal Harry became a tight end?
No.
In Minnesota.
I was unaware of this. Where at?
He's going to be starting for Hawkinson until Hawkinson returns.
I didn't know this.
They packed on 40 pounds of muscle on him. He's already a big guy as it was, but now he's like up to 245, I think I read.
Gee whiz.
And they're making him a tight end now. And we know rookie quarterbacks and tight ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this could be a key little pickup.
Yeah. Rookie quarterbacks and tight ends are a big deal, except in Houston. I really figured C.J. Stroud was going to wear Dalton Schultz out, and he didn't. He wore Tank Dell out, which was good for me because I had Tank Dell. But he's really about the only one that I haven't seen use his tight end in a big role in a long time as a rookie.
So we'll see. Do you do any dynasty leagues?
I have one that I've had for a while. In fact, we're supposed to do our draft like I think it's the second week of August or something like that. I lost 2 guys and I kept 2 guys. My keep, I've got my fingers crossed on. I kept Christian McCaffrey.
Wait, your
We
dynasty is different than keeper. Dynasty
okay.
is
Then we're using different definitions. What are you calling a dynasty league?
dynasty league is where you draft your whole team, and then the following year you only draft rookies.
Okay, then you're calling it different than what we called it when we first put it together.
Call it a
That
keeper league.
particular thing, no, I'm not. I'm not in one of those.
We call it a keeper league. That's what we call the fantasy regular now, a keeper league,
Okay,
where you
yeah, because
keep 2 to 3 players. Usually, only you get one position to choose to keep the players, and then whatever round they were drafted in, some move up 2 rounds, some move up 1 round, and some keeper leagues also have rules where you can only keep a guy for up to 3 years.
right, and see what we did in the beginning when we did that dynasty league, what we called a dynasty league anyway, was we did a 5-year cap. When you got a guy, you had 5 years that you could keep him, and you had to draft at least 2 rookies each season. Hence, building your dynasty. So,
And that rule was created because of me, because I picked Tony Romo off the free agent wire, and I got to keep him in a 15th round pick.
there you go.
And then,
There you go.
yeah, he did good in the regular season. He had Miles Austin.
Yeah.
Miles
Romo
Austin.
was a really good fantasy quarterback.
Oh, for sure. And you got to know you could be up big on Thanksgiving Day, looking into the weekend.
Yeah. Remember the year, and I'm trying to remember how long ago it was. Probably 5 or 6 years ago, when Kamara ran for or had 6 touchdowns, and then Romo went crazy, but the Cowboys lost. And I'm trying to remember what happened in the third game, but it was some really extraordinary number. I had all 3 in my DraftKings.
And that was a good week for you.
It was a good day. It was a very good day.
I remember I was going into Monday night, and I was down 52 points, I believe.
Yeah.
And all I had was one guy left, and he went for 262 in the first half with 3 touchdowns, and then they sat him in the second half.
By the way,
Monday.
sorry, folks. I'm adjusting my boot. I just realized how crazy I look on the camera.
On Monday Night Football, Rich, any guess on who that was?
Threw for 262. And then
I didn't say he threw.
Oh. I don't know.
I don't want to leave optimism.
You don't want to what?
I didn't want to leave optimism. Anyway, he was number 37 on the Seattle Seahawks.
Shaun Alexander.
Yes. And they sat him the whole second half, and I won by 1 point.
Oh. I'll tell you what, though, that was another fantasy beast right there.
Sure was.
For 3-4 years. Alvin Kamara was a beast for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, but there's nothing better than winning the league.
True.
How many? Now you've been in this keeper league for about what, 20 years?
The one you mean the one I'm talking about with McCaffrey in it?
Yeah, your main league.
Yeah, that's probably been about 12, 15, something like that.
How many times have you won it?
3.
Yeah,
I've come in second. I've come in second twice.
I've only lifted that trophy twice, I believe.
Well, the one it was crazy because I won it, and then I didn't even make the playoffs the next year, and then I went second, and won it the next 3 years, and then I had a gap of like 2 or 3 years before I won it again. But
It happens. It happens.
it does.
Like I have this awesome trophy that's sitting right above my head, and I don't want to give it up yet. Like this trophy is probably one of the coolest trophies I've ever seen.
Hey, yeah, that's
It's
pretty cool.
with a lap, couch potato dude, like Coach Cat, like, and he's got his laptop, a beer in his hand, and a remote control.
Yeah.
And hopefully this trophy don't get to leave.
We did one with a bunch of guys in one of my bowling leagues, and we actually had a ball made with, how, I don't know if you've ever seen like the ones that have a skull inside of them and that kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we did one that had Fantasy Champion inside of it on a little plate that was inside the ball that said Fantasy Champion.
Inside the ball?
Yeah, inside the bowling ball. They built the bowling ball around it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I've been in some leagues, like single year leagues and redraft leagues, I guess they call them now, that have done some weird. Fortunately, I didn't have to partake in any of it, but the one and only year in my life I came in dead last, there wasn't anything like that went with it except for the ridicule from the other guys that I played with. But I did go 0-13 one year.
That's brutal.
Yep.
That's
And
brutal.
I had a pretty good draft, but at one point, out of my 14 guys on the roster, 8 of them were hurt.
So you ready to hear this crazy roster I won this dynasty with real quick? I'll just run through the names.
Sure.
Mahomes, Brees Hall, Isaiah Pacheco, AJ Brown, Drake London, Dalton Kincaid, Brandon Ayuk, DJ Moore, Tank Dell, Jalen Hurts, Jason Sanders, my kicker, Kayvon Thibodeau. This is IDP also.
IDP, okay.
This is the first time ever doing IDP. I didn't know anything about defense. Still don't.
Right.
But I got Brian Jones and Theodore, and now they're on the same team, so great. But their defense should be able to field a lot. They are the Giants. I have Patrick Queen step up and Trenton Simpson, which Matt is talking like this kid's going to be lights out this year now that he had a chance to learn the system. So that's exciting. And then I have Fred Warner, Jack Campbell, Cal Hamilton, Mike Minka, and Hufunga.
Wow.
And then I got a whole bench, but we don't need to get into that.
Pretty good lineup, though.
Who am I?
Pretty good roster.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm excited. I mean, my bench is pretty stacked too. There's a kid out of Philadelphia right now, Johnny Wilson, who he's 6'5", and he could be beating out Devontae Smith. And that would put Devontae Smith possibly in the slot, which would be nuts.
And probably where he would be more successful.
Yeah, this kid's huge. I couldn't imagine seeing IU. I mean AJ Brown, Wilson, and Devontae Smith lined up in the slot with Godard coming out of the tight end position.
Yeah. Yeah, because I really think, in college, Devontae Smith is fine being an outside receiver, but in the NFL, he's a slot guy. He's just not big enough to be an outside receiver.
Oh, I have
The days of Deshaun Jackson are over.
Godart and Kyle Pitts on my bench because I
Pretty darn
have
good.
Kincaid. Yeah,
That's really good.
I have A-Chain on my bench.
Wow.
I just traded for him. I didn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have all season to make moves, so it's early yet.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
So we'll see. But yeah, Rich,
Yes,
I thought
sir.
we had a good show tonight. All right, we're almost getting to radio time. We're at 2 hours plus.
Yeah, we're at 2:15.
We're
So
to that radio time, but we don't have the interruptions. So we might be at 3 if we had all the interruptions.
14 minutes an hour. Yeah, we'd be close.
So,
We'd be
but yeah,
very close.
how people get a hold of you, and we'll get out of here and we'll rejoin. I did message Mike to see if he wanted to come back on. I didn't get anything back from him. After the draft, Josh said he would come back on too. So
Very cool.
we're gonna get a lot. We possibly get a lot of Mr. Yoey in the off season. So get caught up on your Penguins. He said he'd come on whenever he could, but with nothing going on. So he said I'm pretty much open. It's the regular season where you really have trouble finding me.
Gotcha.
We almost went to the game Sunday and watched Skeens pitch.
Very nice.
So
Yeah, you can hit me up on. Oh,
What's that?
go ahead.
No, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say, you hit me up on Twitter, Go Big Go Home Pod, or hit me on Facebook with my name, Rich Richardson.
And you can find me at Sports Talking It. You can also find me on Driving to the Top Productions. Hit that like and subscribe button. Guys, I don't know if you left any comments. I saw some Twitter people were watching. It's always easier to watch on the YouTube channel, guys, if you want to leave comments. Apparently, it's not intervening today. So if you guys did leave comments, I don't know. I will go back and check. But anyway, guys, yes, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, it's easier to come over to the YouTube channel. Driving to the Top Productions. Look for Miss Phoenix as our cover. And yeah, like, subscribe, do all the good stuff. Get us up there. Hey, everybody. And I am signing off, and have a good night.
Good night.